in that second half as you guys were trying to pull away. Is that part of your game that's always been there, or were you just feeling it tonight?
Nah, that's a part of my game that's always been there, but just putting in the consistent work every day with Coach Johnson helped me to shoot those shots confidently and obviously make them.
You guys scored 100 points tonight, had 3 20-plus point scores. What were you guys seeing offensively? What worked so well?
What works so well is just like we're all dynamic and we all can score the ball at a high rate. So you can't help too much in the gaps or things like that. Like we all come from different schools, putting up numbers and things like that. So our biggest thing is just learn how to play with each other and just starting off earlier.
And you guys saw, like you guys mentioned before, you guys have the 3-point shots, so just not going down. What's tonight on one of those nights where they were going down?
Yeah, tonight was one of them nights. We know, like Coach Hood, he's one of our offensive coaches. He just said, man, stay with it and just keep putting in the reps. Like he said with Coach Johnson and things like that, it's going to go down. They're open shots. We work on it every day. So just stay confident in our shot and don't get discouraged.
Keyshawn, you were obviously super physical down low, showed your ability once again to finish around the rim. What goes into that mindset throughout the game for you?
My mindset going into the game is just me. I'm from Cleveland, so I like to go at people, and I like to. If I'm not going, I'm drawing fouls. Something I'm trying to get to the line or make a bucket. I'm going at anybody. So that's my biggest thing. And my teammates find me and find where I like the ball. So that was the biggest thing that worked today.
The shots might have fallen a little more today, but FAU did get a bit of an early lead there. How are you guys able to once again settle in and be able to come back?
Our defense, coach always praise our defense, but that's the thing. It's not going to work all season just starting off late. So we have to stop that, and we have to come out earlier because against like this team is great. FAU is great. You see they scored 94 points, but against bigger teams in the Big 12, it's not going to be working like that every game. So we have to stop that and come out earlier and just get back to work and practice.
Keyshawn, you finished with 26 points. What was your mentality tonight offensively, and how did you think you did on the ball in general?
My mentality actually is the same every game. It's been the same. It's just the other nights I was in foul trouble and then the other night it just wasn't going. So, but today it was just one of them days that it was going, and my teammates found me and got me the ball where I wanted the ball and things like that. So my mindset is the same thing every day. Just go kill and try to get to it and try to win.
You guys obviously struggled from beyond the arc against Purdue-Fort Wayne, but you didn't shy away from the three-point line this time. What was Coach's message to you? Just to keep shooting, or?
Yeah, his message to us was just keep shooting. Like Keyshawn said, we put the shots in every day, every one of us. So when the opportunity is there, we're going to take them and trust in our shots that we shoot.
FAU had a big run coming out of halftime, so how did you guys kind of settle in after that and refocus it to take control in the second half?
I feel like it's nothing that we haven't seen in practice every day where another team is making a run and we got to stay composed and make our run of ourselves and try to get back in the game.
You guys are 3-0. You beat number 13 A&M and two teams that could very well win their conference. All you guys are brand new to the team this year. What have you learned about this team, I guess, through these first 3 wins?
That, like Coach said, we're getting lost in the fight. It's not just about one person. We're trying to do something for bigger than us. We're trying to do it for Orlando. We're trying to do it for UCF fans. We're trying to do stuff like that. Like we all, like I said, we all want to get our this, that when we was at other schools. But now we all just getting lost in the fight and thinking about winning and doing it for Coach Dawkins.
Keyshawn, 3 games now. You've hit the spin lay all 3 games. What goes into that move, and why are you so good at it?
As a kid, I was a point guard growing up. That's why my name was Big Guard. I was a point guard growing up as a kid, so I got a good feel for a body moving on me. Like if I feel he's gonna beat me to the spot, I'm gonna just spin off of him. So things like that is where my touches come in at and my feet work. So I try to use it until a team stop me doing it, and then I'll counter it.
Yeah, Darius leading the team tonight with 5 assists. Of course, he's been on the team for quite a long time. Considering how all of you are brand new to this team, what does his presence do to kind of help bring you guys together and lead you guys?
His presence is big for us, especially from day to day in practice. Just his leadership, how he talks to guys, how he just moves himself. He leads by example and he leads by what he says, and it's easy to follow.
You guys had 19 assists tonight. Do you feel the chemistry and the trust in this team growing with each game?
Yes, I feel like each game is growing and growing. We just all getting lost in the fight, and we just all trusting each other more and more. And knowing we can't do this by ourselves. Even like we can't do it all. Like we're strong as our weakest link. So we all have to pinch in, even from the bench, everywhere. So we all just getting lost in the fight and just playing with each other.
You guys are obviously still missing Jalen and Mikey, but you're still producing offensively at a high level. What goes into that next man up mentality, and how would you characterize everyone's performance without them?
I'll say just be ready. Honestly, Coach Dawkins just told everybody in the locker room when your number's called, just be ready to make a moment and make plays.
Obviously, you guys had an offensive powerhouse tonight, but how do you want to improve defensively moving ahead in the season to stay below 94 points?
Man, we gonna have a long practice. I'm gonna tell you that. We gotta improve a lot, man. Coach Dawkins, his goals is not 94 points. I'm gonna tell you that. It's definitely like 50, or 40. So yeah, just pray for us in practice. We're gonna have to get out there. We're gonna have to start defending, or it's gonna be a problem. We're gonna get some exercise. That's what I'm gonna tell you right now.
Vinny, you had the 17 points, and the team was plus 20 when you were in the game. Just how are you adjusting to this new team and this new role you have with UCF?
Just playing off guys like Key, Juice, and Darius who demand so much attention. Guys doubling them, just finding open spots, cutting to the high post, cutting underneath the basket, just finding open spots to play out these guys.
You guys went on a few runs. I know there was a 16-2, there was an 11-0, there was an 8-0. What's going through your guys' mind when you're going through those runs, and then obviously you're getting runs against you?
Sure, just get stops. I think that's the biggest thing. Even they did score 94 points, but at the end of the day, we got enough stops to win the game, and that's our goal at the end of the day.
Like Coach Dawkins always say, man, we get 8 kills, that's a win, 97% chance of winning. So
yeah.
We try to just focus on kills. We know we're not supposed to give up that many threes, that many points, that many middle drives, so we're going to work on that. We all coming into a defensive mindset now, but yeah, like just getting 8 kills is a great chance of winning.
Yeah, and if y'all don't know what a kill is, it's 3 stops in a row.
Yeah, that's what a kill is.
Talking about stops and defense, Benny, it seems like each game you've had a big time swat in the paint. What is your goal attacking the paint?
You're a volleyball player, man.
Just protect my paint. Ever since, like Key, I was a guard growing up, so once I got the height, just had to be a little bit more physical and just understand that when I'm in the paint, that's my paint.
You guys are 3-0, and all 3 of those games has pretty much been slow starts. What do you got to do to kind of bounce out? I mean, it hasn't really mattered, but I guess you guys would rather start out fast rather than slow.
Yeah, it's gonna matter very soon if we keep playing like that. We're not gonna be able to get back in the game every game like that. So we just gotta we just gotta lock in a little more, keep playing together more, and just come out like calm and not try to just be rushed and forced and thinking too hard when we first start off. Because I feel like once we get out that first media timeout, we just all slow down and get chill, and then we actually try to lock in. So I think we just gotta come out with that mindset first and just think defense and not worry about the offensive side.
Dior's been kind of slowed down through injury to start the season. He played a little bit more today. He was kind of used as a shot creator and a playmaker. What did you see from him?
I seen a lot from him, man. Dior's a hard worker, so his time is gonna come. It's only a matter of time before he gets everyone out, before he catches everyone out. He dominates in practice. Yeah, he has an injury, but he puts in the work. So his time is going to come. You see how he can get to the line, or he can get down the lane. It's not too many guards that can stay in front of him. You see what he did at Jakus. So his time is going to come, and he just got to keep staying at it and not get in his head and just keep getting healthy.
One more question.
Keyshawn, Coach has talked about this team's just passion to win. You talk about being lost in the fight. Can you elaborate what lost in the fight means to you?
Lost in the fight is like when we all just put everything away and just try to win. And we just try to win. Like we put all the scoring aside, the how many touches we get, whatever it is, it's just trying to win, making plays to win. So that's just getting lost in the fight and running our own race. That's what Coach like to say. We all have a different race. Like a lot of people feel like they should be in the league first year after college, or feel like they should do this and listen to outsiders. But if we run our own race and just get lost in the fight as a team, it's going to all work out for all of us. We're all going to eat if we win. So that's what he's just been telling us. Just get lost in the fight and think about winning and doing it for someone bigger than yourself. And that's what it is.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot, guys. Good luck. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Well, I thought it was just a really good basketball game. I thought both teams came, ready to compete as they should. I thought FAU got off to a great start. I think John, does a great job with his team. He's built a great group. They played very unselfish basketball, and they made a lot of connecting plays against us. And so first for us, looking at what we did, I thought, I was really proud of our guys because when they got a double-digit lead, you could have gotten, even bigger. I thought we had some guys really step up in the first half and give us a huge lift. I thought Jordan Ivy Curry, especially in the first half, really helped stabilize us. And I thought off the bench, I thought JJ came in and gave us some real meaningful minutes in the first half to also help get us back in rhythm as well. So really happy those guys were able to step up in the first half.
Coach, talk about that critical stretch, down late in the second half, 5 or 6 minute mark, I think you guys only had a 3-point lead. Then Darius Johnson, he had the 8-0 run. There was a steal in there. There was an assist. So he made a lot of plays happen for you to start to pull away. How big was that moment?
It was huge for us. I mean, he had a senior moment. It's great to have a senior point guard. Guys who understand what you want, guys who've been in those moments before. So he's comfortable. He made the plays that were in front of him. He made timely plays coming down the stretch for us, and like I say, he's a good free throw shooter, so you really can't foul him either. So I thought he was really terrific, and like I said, it's great having a senior point guard, a senior leader, and he exhibited that today.
Coach, you guys scored 100 points tonight. 3 players over 20 points. You mentioned before, they were getting good shots, they just weren't falling. Was this one of the nights where they were falling?
Exactly. I thought we got those shots that we were talking about, but they were knocking them down. And I think they're capable of having nights like this. I see them in practice, so I have a different perspective, and I know they're capable. And tonight, I think doing it in an actual game will help them understand that it's possible to do it on game night as well. So a lot of guys stepped up and made those plays for us.
Coach, Keyshawn, Jordan, and Darius combined for 69 points tonight. What has their consistent presence meant for this team early, especially with the injuries to Jalen and Mikey?
Well, it really helps us because it gives us guys that have all been in those moments before. All 3 of those guys have a great deal of experience. Jordan's a junior, Keyshawn's a junior, DJ's a senior, but all 3 of those guys, are capable of doing what they did tonight. And it's just really good to see them all do it on the same night. That just makes us, even more difficult to defend.
Coach, kind of another slow start to start the game tonight and then another slow start coming out of the half. What do you want to see change regarding that?
We've got to get better coming out, starting games and coming out of halves. We've got to get better. We're working on that. Believe me, we're working on it daily, and things that we can do to try to help these guys understand how we need to start. But it's a process. These guys are still learning to play with each other. You're 3 games into the season. I expect some of that, where, how are we starting? What are we running? What are we doing defensively? We're working on all of that and looking at it all to see if we can find a way to kind of make it a better start for us.
Coach Keyshawn mentioned that they were going to be in for some exercise at practice after giving up 94 points tonight. When you look at this high-octane FAU offense, what can this team learn from that as they move on and eventually have to face Big 12 offenses?
Well, they're very difficult to guard. The wonderful thing for us in 3 games, I think we played 3 different systems. So these players on my team have to learn to play against 3 different systems already. And that's how it's going to be as we move through the season and, of course, in conference play. Everyone's not going to play the same style. And so you have to be able to make the adjustments. And I thought our guys in all 3 games were able to make the adjustment. They found a way to still win the game. And that's the most important thing. So tonight, playing against that type of offensive system, we're going to learn so much watching film, what we could do, what we can tweak to be better, and we should continue to improve as we go forward.
Johnny, the FAU coach talked a little bit about how he appreciated the fact that you guys signed up for this game to play them because it's difficult for getting these kind of games, especially, so what was it that you saw that you wanted and the reason why you wanted to play FAU?
John does a great job with his group, as I said earlier. I looked at the guys they were bringing in, and they really they brought in a lot of talented players. And so I saw that, and you've been with me now, and this is, almost a decade. Us, we're gonna play everybody. We're gonna play, every team we play is always gonna be competitive. That's what we wanna play, so our players can develop a certain habit that they have to be successful when it comes to conference play. And so, they played great, but we expected them to. Now, our players didn't walk in that game blindfolded. They knew that they were gonna come in and they were gonna be very competitive, they were gonna be tough, and we wanted to play a good game to win.
Benny Williams had an excellent game, 17 points, 7 boards. I think you guys were plus 20 when he was in the game. He had that mid-range shot was falling. He made his free throws. Just how big was Benny's contributions tonight?
He was terrific. I'm just happy because I like to see young men, especially when they work as hard as he worked, have the success because it just shows that hard work pays off. And so it reinforces habits we're trying to teach. And I mean, he's worked so hard this summer, this fall, and so now he's in these moments. I'm happy for him, you know, because I know what he put in, sacrifices, commitment he's made to improve, and it shows on the floor. And so now he can still build off of that. Now once you've done that, that formula becomes, I know how hard I got to work to get better. You'll continue that formula and continue to improve.
Coach, you touched on the 94 points. That's kind of not your style, but did you learn that you can play a faster paced game, a higher scoring game, and still win, or does that need to be clamped down a little bit?
Well, we need to clamp down on that. 94 points is a lot of points in a regulation game. Now, I don't mind scoring as many points. I just don't want to give up that many. So, you know, the areas we have to improve in, you know, but as you just mentioned, you know, I don't know if in years past we've been capable of winning a game like that where we had to just outscore a team, you know, but we're able to because, you know, we have some guys that are capable of putting the ball in the basket a little bit more. And so we're able to win a game like that. And some nights, let's be quite frank, you're going to have to be able to just outscore someone because sometimes guys like tonight, and they feel like they almost made everything. So if you don't, you know, make shots, then you're just going to continue to fall further and further behind. And so our guys, you know, really did a good job offensively of executing our game plan, and then we need to continue to shore up our defense.
Coach, you've seen some 100-plus point games in your time here at UCF, but this one was in regulation, which I have to imagine has been a while since you've seen something like that. What stood out to you about your offense tonight that, as opposed to other offenses you've had over your time here at UCF?
Well, this is my first time here scoring over 100 points or 100 points in regulation. So, you know, what it says is that we have some guys that are capable of putting the ball in the hole. I think they showed that they're willing to share the basketball. We had 19 assists in doing so. And so long as they continue to share the basketball, play unselfish, the ball has energy and find the right guy, you know, we're confident that whoever that right guy is at the time can make the shot. And that's what we want to have, a team where no matter where we move the ball, we feel good about the guy with it and his ability to make a shot. And I think we saw that tonight.
46% tonight from beyond the arc. Would you guys say that you're breaking out of a shooting slump after the first struggles in the first two games from the three-point line?
Yeah, I don't think we shot as well as we're capable of. You know, I don't know if I would say it was a slump for us in, you know, game 3, but, you know, I was confident that we could, you know, get better shooting the basketball, and it was kind of good to see us do that, you know. But the best thing about the first 2 games for us were that we didn't shoot well, and we still were able to find a way to win. And I think our guys learned a big lesson because they know they can score. Our guys know they can score. But now we have to understand some nights the ball's just not going to go in for you. So is that your excuse to lose a game? Or can you still find a way and dig deep enough to still find a way to pull it out? And so I thought our first 2 games we were able to do that, which should be a good teachable moment for us as we go forward.
Keyshawn and Benny talked about the struggles of the defense, but said you guys managed to get some kills. How do you take that into Tennessee Tech and the rest of the season?
It's just about defense, getting stops. You know, it's just that's a terminology we use for just getting stops, and that's what the game boils down to. You have to stop the other opponent, you know, more than they can stop you at the end of the day. And we were able to have a few more stops than they had tonight.
John, was this not the best matchup for him? I know he got into foul trouble and everything else. Just talk about his the young freshman center. Yeah, John.
Exactly. He was a freshman today, yeah. And you know, and that's. It's going to be beneficial for him. All these experiences that he's facing, he's never faced before. He's 17 years old. He's figuring it out. And I'm just happy that we were able to be successful. And it's going to be a great, again, teachable moment for him. There's going to be so much good film that we can show him, you know, in situations, offensively, defensively, that he's going to grow from. He needs these type of experiences as we move forward so he can continue to improve.
Keyshawn Hall said to pray for the team regarding the practice this week after allowing those 94 points. What do you think the practice is going to look like this week?
Well, it'll be intense, that's for sure. There'll be some intense practices, but they should want them to be intense because it's about our standard. The score never matters to me. It's our standards, it's how we play. That's all that, whether we win or lose, we win by 20 and we don't play the right way, of course, not to our standards, I'm not going to be happy. But we could lose by 15, and we played the right way, did everything we could. I'm okay with that. It's all about our standards. So tonight, you know, I'm looking at this game, and I give FAU a lot of credit, nothing disparaging. I mean, the coach does a great job. I think the team's going to have a terrific season. you know, there are things that we have to do. I'm only thinking about us, the things that we have to do to be better. And so, of course, I'm disappointed in that, and we have to start working on that immediately.
Coach, you had 4 guards with 15 or more points tonight, and this is without Mikey Williams or Jalen Sellers on the floor. What can you update us about those 2 status, and then how does their introduction kind of factor into this guard group who has already been scoring at a high level?
Well, those guys are still day to day, and so we're still waiting to see, you know, their status as far as when, you know, they could possibly be available. And so we're very, like I said, I'm just still optimistic, you know, with regards to those guys. You know, right now what happens is you need other guys to step up in those opportunities. Like, this is basketball, so when a man goes down, you know, someone has an opportunity to step up and show they can really help contribute to what we're doing. And so that's what we're having right now. We're in a position where guys are, you know, having to step up and make plays. Like tonight, like a Benny comes in and makes a play. Nails, you know, his opportunity. You know, Debo's out there, you know, playing. So we have guys that have some experience, that have had some success, that are in those roles, and this is their opportunity, you know, to help our team and to give us as a coaching staff, you know, more options and more things to consider, you know, when guys do return.
Coach,
Time for 2 more.
whether the team is shooting well or not, one of the main consistent factors has been getting to the free throw line and converting them. You guys went 23 for 25 tonight. Something that was an inconsistent thing last season. What is the difference that you see at the free throw line?
These guys have really worked hard on them this summer and this fall. These guys, a number of them, if you look at their percentages when they were at different colleges, they've shot the ball fairly well from the free throw line. So we brought some guys in that have been consistent free throw shooters, along with our guys continuing to work to improve on their free throws. We made an emphasis of that as, you know, in drills, in the practice, in the middle of practice, different times, to work on just, you know, focusing and concentrating on knocking them down.
How much of a factor is that for you, like mentioned before, when the team isn't shooting well, that these guys are getting to the line and making sure they're getting points one way or another?
Absolutely, that's big. I mean, you know, we want to play a game where we balance our offense out. We don't want to be an all 3-point shooting team. We know we're not going to be an all at the basket team in the paint. You know, we have to have the ability to knock down free throws or get fouled. You know, putting foul on the other team is always a good thing. You know, I think that helped us with Bob Miller, you know, get him in foul trouble. So those things help us. And so we have to understand the value of balancing our offense out, not being one-dimensional, and getting to the line is a big part of that.
Last question here.
You guys were able to withstand that 13-2 run to open the second half. How does that speak to the resiliency of this team and the continuity you're trying to build?
Well, I think they have a lot of confidence in themselves and their ability to come back. You know, the one thing about them is they keep competing. You know, they've shown a poise, you know, calmness in those situations. And I think that starts with your leadership at the point guard spot. I think DJ sets a tone, he's calm, he's intense in what he's saying, but he's calm, you know, in those situations. I think Keyshawn and Jordan have been in those situations before as well. And so the guys who don't have that experience, they've done a good job of kind of feeding and following those guys' leadership, feeding off of those guys and following their leadership. And I think that's why we've been able to, in those moments, just kind of settle down and start building from that position.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
everyone.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
All right,
Thank you.
All right.
I think we've shown in the early games, but you know, UCF on the road is a little bit different caliber. We're good in our spurts, and tonight the spurtability you could see in public, but the consistency you couldn't. And so until we get consistent on the defensive end, I mean, the beauty of the spurts on offense doesn't really matter. But when we guarded, we were okay, and we did that to open the first half and the second half. So they responded when it was addressed, but we got to respond more.
Coach, UCF scored 100 points, had 3 different 20-point scorers. What did you see from them offensively?
Yeah, I would say today the thing is the 3-point line. Like they were 2 and 20 last game. When they're making 13 threes at home and we don't get out and take that away, that's going to be an issue for us. So they did a great job. They had won games at the free throw line in the past 2, and I actually thought they won it at the 3-point line today. They deserve a lot of credit after 2 first games, and the Texas A&M game was really low scoring. For them to respond and make jump shots at home, you can see how they're getting more comfortable. So they've done a good job of growing in their confidence, and the 3-point line was certainly one of the keys for us.
Coach, a few games now into your tenure at FAU, how have you kind of settling into this season?
I don't know that we settled in much. I mean, we got a neutral, a home, and we got 6 on the road. So we're going to fight on the road to get better. We would love to go home and play at the Eldy as much as we could, but right now we're going to have to go through what we got to go through. So The fans were great to us at home the one game we got there. In December, we look forward to getting back. But the settling in for us is on the defensive end on the road. That's where it needs to happen.
Coach, you had 5 players finish with double figures. Despite the loss, how encouraged are you offensively in the early going here?
I mean, that's hard to be encouraged right now after playing defense like that. I will say I believe in the kids we recruited. I believe that we have depth. I believe that when we share and run, we're hard to guard. And for stretches, you saw that tonight. So we're going to double down on our belief in the kids on the offensive end, and then we're going to clean some things up defensively.
Coach, we all know how good FAU's been the last couple of years. You alluded to it in your opening statement, how difficult it was to fill out this non-conference schedule. Can you kind of elaborate on that process and how difficult it was?
Yeah, well, when we took the job over, so we had to just, we had to try to find some quad ones besides our Thanksgiving tournament, and then the field of 68 where we're going next is already set up. And then you call around, and the leagues are growing. So you're now getting 20-game leagues. It's going to get to 22 and 24. So where before people had 13 games to fill, it's getting less and less. And then because of the math, I think they want to take games that they can win by 30 or 40 and trick the net. And that's okay. We just did the best we could. I thought Coach AD on our staff just kept calling, and I just want to give him credit again. Coach was great to have this game with us at all. He did it early, and I totally respect that. And I think the way he scheduled with A&M, and then I thought the team they played last game, IPFW, will be a tournament team. If you look at their league, they have a chance. So for him to schedule these 3 games first, I think that's going to reward them in the long run.
Is this a one-off game with UCF? Is there a game scheduled for next year?
No, there is not a game in return. Hopefully someday we can earn some home and homes.
For both of you guys, I know we mentioned the defensive end already. Through 3 games, where would you assess kind of progress and you guys have made on the offensive side of the ball and the chemistry you guys have demonstrated in those games?
I think we're just going to have to find our pockets. There's times where the 2-point guards is great. I thought Leland had beautiful moments tonight. There's times where small ball is good for us, and then there's times I thought really we won the game when the big fella Matas was in the game. We were plus 12, and I thought that was a real mismatch for us. We're going to have to clean up that technical. There's some immaturity there, and that's a 5-point swing after we fix some things. And now we're getting into random lineups that we didn't expect to be in. So no more technicals. Okay? We're going to have to be ourselves. And when the big lineups work, and then our big guys got to stay out of foul trouble. And that's part of them maturing. So he's a young kid from overseas. We'll learn from it. He did a lot of great things tonight, but that certainly was a key moment this evening.
Leland, what were you seeing out there on the court today that made this UCF guard group so tough to guard?
I mean, the way they just reject the ball screens on me a couple times. I seen that. The way they shot the ball. So yeah, we just have to be more disciplined on defense, and we'll be good.
Coach, obviously you coached against Johnny Dawkins last year as an assistant. You coached against him today. What does a Johnny Dawkins team play like?
I think that they do this. I mean, they did it to Texas Tech last year. They did it to Kansas last year. They played great at home. They've got a plan. And then I think when things don't go well for them, they've got a way of driving the basketball. And he trusts those 2 guards to get to the free throw line and make plays. And you can't really guard that action. You've got to guard the person. And then their ability to get fouled is pretty special. And the mistake we made is because of that, I thought we gapped them too much. And we let that pull-up 3 off the dribble happen too often. But they're tough. They've got a couple guys that aren't playing right now. We scheduled them in part because we thought it was a quad 1 game and we needed those. And so we believe that they have nothing but upside. And I think Coach does a great job.
Heading into this weekend, back-to-back games, Liberty and Charleston. What's the hardest part about going on a road trip like this, also staying in Charleston after that? And what do you guys look to adjust in the short amount of time that you have?
We're just calling it an NBA road trip. To be honest, I can't tell you what the hardest part about it is because we haven't done it before. I've never been on the road for 14 days straight. These guys have been mature, the way they handle themselves, to sleep, to eat, nutrition, all that kind of stuff will matter. And then as we travel, we've got to be careful with their legs. And so, I mean, offensively, I thought we were fresh. Defensively, I wouldn't blame our legs today. So the next 3 days as we travel and get to the next spot, I think it's just about taking care of them and then making sure they're fresh so we can actually play on that end.
So Leland, you led the team with 20 points and 5 assists. Despite the loss, how did you feel about your performance tonight, and what do you feel like you learned for the season going forward?
I mean, I feel like I learned a lot from the season, but without my teammates, I wouldn't have been able to do what I did today. So that's really it.
Richard, go ahead. started with my first question for Coach. Obviously, heading into a tough environment, especially against an in-state opponent. How did you feel the team was managing through the ups and downs, despite the opposing crowd trying to get your head throughout the course of the game?
I was proud of the ups and down thing because clearly we came out on fire, ready to go, and then they hit back. And then we were down 8. We were going to find out a lot about ourselves. I mean, we played a neutral where we were up a bunch, and then we played a game at home where we were up a bunch. So to be in that situation for the first time, they at least showed the ability to get back when things aren't going their way. So we can't overreact. It's really early. It's really early, and then we've got plenty of time to get better. But they did show the ability 2 or 3 times to fight back after getting in some lows, so I was proud of that.
Last question, Richard.
Yeah, last question for Leland. Obviously, Leland, you had led the team scoring over 20 points, including 4 triples from downtown. Had a lot of bright moments in the second half. What were you seeing throughout the entirety of the game that allowed you to find your spots and knock down those shots with ease?
Just my coaches hyping my head up, just telling me to shoot the ball when I'm open. So yeah, that's really what I seen. I just shot the ball when I was open.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.